Elena Vargas thought closing the diner at midnight would be just another exhausting end to another broke day, until a bleeding stranger crashed through her back door and turned her quiet life into a war zone. What she didn't know was that saving Nico Moretti's life would make her the most wanted woman in the city, with rival gangs hunting her and her mute 7-year-old brother like prey. The waitress who could barely pay rent was about to become the one thing standing between a mafia boss and his revenge. But when Franco Rizzo puts a bounty on her head and threatens to take Luis, Elena discovers that sometimes the most dangerous choice is also the only one that leads to love. She thought she was protecting a wounded man, but he was about to show her what real protection looked like. What happens next will either destroy them all or forge the most unlikely family from blood, bullets, and broken hearts. Subscribe and tell me in the comments. Would you risk everything to save a stranger's life, even if it meant putting your family in mortal danger? Elena wiped down the last table in the empty diner. The clock above the register showed 11:47 p.m. Luis sat in the back booth, wrapped in his worn jacket. His eyes were heavy, but he waited for her. He always waited. "Almost done, baby," she called softly. Luis nodded. He never spoke anymore. Not since their father's friends came looking for money. Not since they had to run. Elena felt tired, the kind of tired that lived in her bones. Bills stacked on her nightstand upstairs. Luis needed medicine for his fever. She needed this job. Footsteps echoed in the alley behind the diner. Elena froze. Her hands tightened on the dish rag. The footsteps stopped. Elena moved to Luis. "Come on, we're closing." She pulled him from the booth. His small hand was hot in hers. Too hot. The front door was already locked. She checked it twice. Her breath came faster. A loud crash erupted from the back entrance. "Stay behind me," Elena whispered. She pushed Luis against the wall. Her heart hammered. The crash came again. Elena crept toward the kitchen. The back door hung open. Cold air rushed inside. A man stumbled through the doorway. Blood covered his white shirt. He pressed one hand against his side. Elena's breath caught. The man looked up. His eyes were dark, dangerous. He tried to speak, but collapsed instead. "Mama?" Luis whispered behind her. Elena turned. Luis called her Mama sometimes when he was scared. "It's okay," she said, but it wasn't okay. Nothing about this was okay. Shadows moved past the windows. Men's voices carried from the alley. "Where is he?" "Check the dumpster." "Boss wants him alive." Elena looked at the bleeding man. Then at Luis. Her brother needed her. This stranger would bring trouble. The voices grew closer. Elena grabbed the man's shoulders. He was heavy, unconscious. She dragged him behind the prep counter. "Luis, hide behind the flour sacks." Luis obeyed without question. Good boy. Elena threw a tablecloth over the man. Blood seeped through the white fabric. The back door slammed open. "Nobody here," a voice said. Elena straightened. She faced two men in dark coats. One had a scar across his cheek. "We're closed," she said. Her voice was steady. "Good." "You see anyone come through here?" Scar asked. "No." "You sure about that?" Elena felt scared. These men looked at her like she was nothing, like Luis was nothing. "I told you no." The second man walked into the kitchen. He looked behind the counter. Elena held her breath. "What's under the cloth?" "Dishes." The man lifted one corner. Plates sat stacked underneath. Elena had moved them there yesterday. "Let's go," Scar said. "Franco wants the whole block searched." They left through the back door. Elena waited, counted to 60, then pulled the cloth away. The bleeding man's eyes were open now. He studied her face. "Why did you help me?" he asked. His voice was rough, quiet. I don't know. That was the truth. Elena didn't know why she helped him. She should have let them find him. You need to leave, she said. I will, when I can stand. You can stand now. The man tried to push himself up. He made it halfway before falling back down. Elena felt frustrated and scared, and something else she couldn't name. Luis appeared beside her. He looked down at the stranger with curious eyes. Go back to the booth, Elena said. Luis didn't move. He pulled his blanket from his shoulders. Gently, he laid it over the bleeding man. The man's eyes found Luis's. Something shifted in his expression. Thank you, he whispered. Luis nodded, then returned to his hiding spot. Elena stared at the stranger, at the blood on his shirt, at the way he looked at her brother. What's your name? She asked. Nico? I'm Elena. That's Luis. Elena. Nico said her name carefully. Those men will come back. Then you better be gone. They think you're hiding me now. Elena's stomach dropped. What? They saw the diner was open late. They'll remember you. You're lying. I wish I was. Elena felt angry. This man brought danger to her door, to Luis. Get out! I can't protect you if I leave. I don't need protecting. Nico tried to sit up again. This time he made it. Blood had soaked through his shirt. Elena could see the wound now, a deep cut across his ribs. You need a hospital, she said. No hospitals. You could die. Better than the alternative. Elena looked at Luis. He watched them from the booth. His fever made his cheeks red. Fine, but you leave in the morning? Nico nodded. Morning. Elena helped him to his feet. He was taller than she expected, broader. She could feel the strength in his arms, even injured. Upstairs, she said. Her apartment was small, one bedroom for her and Luis, a couch in the living room. You take the couch, Elena said. We'll be in the bedroom. Elena, she stopped. Thank you. Elena didn't answer. She was already regretting this. In her bedroom, Luis climbed onto, the bed. Elena lay beside him. She listened for sounds from the living room. Nico was quiet. Too quiet. Elena, Luis whispered. She looked down. Luis hadn't spoken her name in weeks. What is it, baby? Luis pointed toward the living room. He's hurt, Luis said. Elena's heart squeezed. Luis's voice was small, rusty from disuse. Yes, he's hurt. Like me? Elena touched Luis's face. Different kind of hurt. Luis nodded. He understood. Luis understood too much for a 7-year-old. Elena listened to Nico breathing in the next room. Deep, even, like he was trying not to make noise. She closed her eyes. Tomorrow he would leave. Tomorrow they would be safe. A scream echoed from the alley below. Elena sat up. Luis grabbed her arm. It's okay, she whispered, but her voice shook. They both heard it. Another scream. Closer this time. Elena crept to the window, pulled back the curtain. Men filled the alley. They dragged someone toward a black car. Elena's breath caught. It was Mrs. Chen from the restaurant next door. Blood ran down her face. Where is he? A man shouted. Mrs. Chen shook her head. The man hit her again. Elena dropped the curtain. Her hands shook. They hurt the lady, Luis said. Elena looked at him. Luis had seen too. Why are they hurting her? Elena didn't answer. She knew why. They were looking for Nico. They would hurt anyone who might be hiding him. The car drove away. The alley went quiet. Elena walked to the living room. Nico sat on the couch. He was awake, alert. You saw? He said. Yes. This is what happens to people who help me. Elena felt cold. Why didn't you warn me? I tried to leave. Not hard enough. Nico's eyes found hers. You're right. Elena sat in the chair across from him. Who are you? Someone who brings trouble. More specific. Nico was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke. I run things in this part of the city. What kind of things? The kind that get people hurt. Elena felt sick. You're with the mob. Yes. And those men? Rivals. They want me dead. Elena stood up. Get out. Elena, get out. Now. I can't. Why not? Because they'll kill you and Luis if I leave. Elena felt scared. Real scared. The kind of scared that made her want to run. You're lying. Franco Rizzo thinks you're important to me now. He'll use that. I'm not important to you. You don't even know me. That won't matter to Franco. Elena paced to the window. The alley was empty now, but she could still see Mrs. Chen's blood on the pavement. What do you want from me? Nothing. I want to keep you safe. Why? Nico was quiet again. When he spoke, his voice was softer. Because you saved my life. Because your brother gave me his blanket. Elena looked back at him, at the blood on his shirt, at the pain in his eyes. This is temporary, she said. Yes. When you're better, you leave. Yes. And you keep us out of your world. I'll try. Elena felt tired again. More tired than before. She needed sleep. Luis needed sleep. I have to work in the morning. I'll be gone before you wake up. Elena nodded. She started toward her bedroom. Elena? She stopped but didn't turn around. I'm sorry. Elena didn't answer. Sorry wouldn't fix this. Sorry wouldn't protect Luis. But something in Nico's voice made her pause. Made her look back. He was staring at his hands. His shoulders were tight, like he carried weight she couldn't see. Good night, she said. In the bedroom, Luis was already asleep. Elena lay down beside him. She listened to the sounds from the living room. Nico was moving around, quietly, like he was trying not to wake them. Elena closed her eyes. When she woke up, he would be gone. This would all be over, but deep down, she knew it wouldn't be that simple. Nothing ever was. Elena woke to sunlight streaming through her window. She checked the clock. 6:30 a.m. Her shift started at 7. Luis was still asleep. His fever had broken during the night. Elena crept to the living room. Empty. No sign of Nico except a folded blanket on the couch. She felt relieved, and something else. Something that felt almost like disappointment. Elena showered quickly, got Luis ready for school. They walked downstairs to the diner. Mrs. Rossi was already in the kitchen. Elena's co-worker and friend. The woman who taught her everything about cooking. You're late, Mrs. Rossi said. Sorry, Luis was sick. Mrs. Rossi looked at Elena carefully. You look tired. Long night. Elena started the coffee, set up the register, normal morning routine. The bell above the door chimed. A customer. Elena looked up. Nico sat at the counter. Her hands tightened on the coffee pot. What are you doing here? Breakfast. You said you'd be gone. I tried. Couldn't make it past the alley. Elena looked closer. Nico's face was pale. Sweat beaded on his forehead. You're still hurt. I'll be fine. Mrs. Rossi appeared beside Elena. She studied Nico with sharp eyes. Who's this? Nobody, Elena said quickly. Nico Moretti, Nico said. He held out his hand to Mrs. Rossi. Mrs. Rossi didn't take it. Her face went white. Madonna, she whispered. Elena looked between them. What? You know who this is? Mrs. Rossi asked. Elena felt cold. Should I? Mrs. Rossi leaned close, spoke in Elena's ear. Nico Moretti runs half the city. His family controls the docks, the restaurants, everything. Elena's breath caught. She looked at Nico again. He was watching them. And Franco Rizzo wants him dead, Mrs. Rossi continued. There's a war starting. Elena set down the coffee pot. Her hands shook. "You brought this here?" Mrs. Rossi asked Nico. "I didn't have a choice." "There's always a choice. Not this time." Elena walked around the counter, sat beside Nico. "You lied to me." "No, I told you exactly what I am." "You didn't tell me you're the boss." Nico's eyes found hers. "Would it have changed anything?" Elena thought about that, about Luis's blanket, about the men in the alley. "No," she said, quietly. Something shifted in Nico's expression. "Why not?" Elena didn't know how to answer that. She barely knew herself. The bell chimed again. 2 men walked in. They wore suits, expensive ones. Elena recognized one from the night before, the man with the scar. Her heart started racing. "Well, well," Scar said. "Look who we found." Nico stood slowly. Elena could see him fighting the pain. "Romano, Polly." "Boss has been looking for you." "I'm sure he has." Romano smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "He wants to talk." "Tell Franco I'll call him." "He wants to talk now." Elena watched the conversation like a tennis match. She understood the words, but not the meaning underneath. "I'm having breakfast," Nico said. "You can eat later." Polly moved toward the counter, toward Elena. "Pretty waitress," Polly said. "She your new friend?" Elena felt scared. She stood up. "I don't know him," she said. Romano laughed. "Sure you don't. That's why he's eating breakfast here." "He's just a customer." "Right." Polly reached for Elena's arm. Nico grabbed Polly's wrist. "Don't touch her." "Oh," Romano said, "she is your friend." Elena felt the situation spinning out of control. These men looked at her differently now, like she mattered. "Let's go, Nico," Romano said, "before this gets messy." "I'm not going anywhere." "Sure you are." Romano pulled out a gun, kept it low, hidden from the window. Elena's breath caught. "You shoot me here, Franco will be angry," Nico said. "Who said anything about shooting you?" Romano pointed the gun at Elena. Elena felt dizzy. The room seemed to tilt. "No," Nico said. His voice was different now, colder. "Then come with us." Elena looked at Nico, at the pain in his face, at the blood still seeping through his shirt. "Go," she whispered. Nico's eyes found hers. "Elena, just go," Romano smiled. "Smart girl." They started toward the door. Elena watched them leave. Her hand shook. At the door, Nico turned back. "This isn't over," he said quietly. Elena didn't know if he was talking to Romano or to her. The door closed. Elena sank onto a stool. Mrs. Rossi appeared beside her. "Are you hurt?" "No." "Good. Now we call the police." "No," Elena said quickly. "Why not?" Elena thought about Romano's gun, about the way he looked at her. "It will make things worse." Mrs. Rossi sat beside her. "Elena, these are dangerous men." "I know. They'll come back." Elena looked toward the door, toward the empty street beyond. "I know," she said again, but she didn't know what to do about it. The morning passed slowly. Regular customers came and went. Elena served coffee and eggs, tried to act normal, but every time the bell chimed, her heart jumped. At noon, Mrs. Rossi sent her home early. "You need rest," Mrs. Rossi said. Elena didn't argue. She climbed the stairs to her apartment. Luis was at school. She had 2 hours alone. Elena sat on the couch, the same couch where Nico had slept. She could still smell his cologne, expensive, clean. She thought about the way he looked at Romano's gun. Not scared, angry. She thought about his hands when he grabbed Polly's wrist. Strong, protective. Elena felt confused. Nico was dangerous. He brought trouble to her door, but he also tried to protect her. The phone rang. Elena answered carefully. "Hello?" "Elena." Nico's voice, deep, tired. "Are you okay?" she asked. For now, Franco wanted to talk business. What kind of business? The kind that ends with someone dead. Elena's stomach tightened. You? Probably. Where are you? Somewhere safe, for the moment. Elena heard voices in the background, men talking, planning. Elena. Yes? Stay away from the diner tonight. Why? Franco thinks you're important to me. I'm not. Nico was quiet for a moment. Keep telling yourself that. The line went dead. Elena stared at the phone. Her hands were shaking again. She thought about Romano's smile, about the gun pointed at her chest. Elena felt scared, but also angry. She didn't ask for this. Luis didn't ask for this. A knock at the door made her jump. Elena looked through the peephole. Mrs. Rossi stood in the hallway. "It's me," Mrs. Rossi called. Elena opened the door. Mrs. Rossi carried a bag of groceries. "I brought food and news." They sat at Elena's small kitchen table. Mrs. Rossi made tea. "Franco's men came back to the diner," Mrs. Rossi said. "When?" "An hour ago. They asked about you." Elena's heart sank. "What did you tell them?" "Nothing, but they're watching now." Elena looked out her window. A black car sat across the street. "How long have they been there?" "Since you left." Elena felt trapped, like the walls were closing in. "There's more," Mrs. Rossi said. "I made some calls. Asked around about Nico Moretti." "What did you find out?" Mrs. Rossi's voice was careful. "He lost his family 2 years ago, wife and daughter. Franco Rizzo ordered the hit." Elena's breath caught. "Why?" "Territory, business, the usual reasons men kill each other." Elena thought about the pain in Nico's eyes, the weight he carried. How old was she? The daughter? 5. Elena felt sick. A baby. Someone had killed a baby over business. "Since then, Nico's been different," Mrs. Rossi continued. "Colder, more dangerous. He's been planning revenge." "Against Franco?" "Yes, and now Franco knows it." Elena understood now. This wasn't just about territory. It was personal. "Where does that leave me?" Mrs. Rossi reached across the table, took Elena's hand. "In the middle of a war." Elena looked out the window again. The black car was still there. "What do I do?" "You run, take Luis and disappear." Elena thought about that, about starting over, again. With what money? Luis needs medicine, school, stability. Better poor than dead. Mrs. Rossi was right. Elena knew she was right, but something inside her rebelled against running. She was tired of being afraid, tired of looking over her shoulder. "There's another option," Mrs. Rossi said quietly. "What?" "You trust Nico Moretti." Elena laughed. It sounded bitter. "Trust a mobster?" "Trust a man who lost everything. Who knows what it means to protect family?" Elena thought about the way Nico looked at Luis, about his gentle voice when he said thank you. "He's dangerous." "So is Franco, but Nico wants to protect you. Franco wants to use you." A car door slammed outside. Elena looked down. 2 men got out of the black car. Elena's breath caught. "They're coming up." Mrs. Rossi moved to the window. "Backstairs. Now." Elena grabbed her purse, her keys. Mrs. Rossi pushed her toward the rear exit. "Where will you go?" Elena thought frantically. "Luis's school. I have to get Luis." "They'll be watching the school." "Then what?" Mrs. Rossi pressed something into Elena's hand, a business card. "Call this number. Tell them Delia sent you." Elena looked at the card. No name, just a phone number. "Who is this?" "Someone who owes me a favor." Heavy footsteps echoed in the front hallway. Men's voices. Elena felt terrified. For herself, for Luis, for the life they'd built here. "Go," Mrs. Rossi whispered. Elena ran. She made it to Luis's school in 20 minutes. Her heart pounded the entire way. The principal let her take Luis early. Family emergency, she said. It wasn't a lie. In the car, Luis looked at her with worried eyes. Are we running again? Elena's heart broke. Luis was 7 years old. He shouldn't know about running. Maybe, just for a little while. Luis nodded. He was used to this, too used to it. Elena called the number Mrs. Rossi gave her. Yeah? A man's voice, rough. Delia sent me. I need help. Where are you? Elena gave him their location. Stay put. 5 minutes. The line went dead. Elena held Luis close. Watched the street for black cars. A motorcycle pulled up. The rider wore all black. No license plate. The rider lifted his helmet. It was Marco. Elena recognized him from the pictures Mrs. Rossi showed her, Nico's right-hand man. Marco approached the car. Elena? Yes. Boss wants to see you. I don't want to see him. Lady, you don't have a choice anymore. Franco's got men all over the city looking for you. Elena felt angry. Because of Nico. Because you helped him. That makes you family now, whether you like it or not. Elena looked at Luis, at his trusting eyes. What about my brother? He comes too. Boss's orders. Elena had a choice to make. Trust Marco and Nico, or run with no money and no plan. Where are we going? Somewhere safe. Elena got out of the car, helped Luis into Marco's motorcycle. It had a sidecar for passengers. As they drove away, Elena saw black cars converging on the school. They'd been minutes away from capture. Elena held Luis tight as they rode through the city, away from everything familiar, toward an uncertain future. But for the first time in hours, she felt something besides fear. She felt hope. Marco's motorcycle pulled up to a warehouse on the outskirts of the city. Elena had never seen this part of town before. Industrial, empty, the perfect place to hide. This way, Marco said. He led them through a side entrance. The warehouse looked abandoned from outside. Inside was different, clean, furnished, safe. Nico waited in the main room. He'd changed clothes, clean shirt, no blood, but Elena could see pain in the way he held himself. You came, he said. I didn't have a choice. Nico's eyes found Luis. How are you feeling, little man? Luis stepped closer to Elena, but he didn't hide behind her anymore. Tired, Luis whispered. It was the first word he'd spoken to anyone besides Elena in months. Something shifted in Nico's expression, gentler. There's food in the kitchen and a room where you can rest. I want to go home, Elena said. Home isn't safe anymore. Elena felt angry. Because of you. Yes. At least he was honest. Elena appreciated that. Marco appeared beside them. Boss, we need to talk. Franco's moving faster than expected. Nico nodded. Show Elena and Luis to the back room. Make sure they have everything they need. I'm not a prisoner, Elena said. No, you're a guest. What's the difference? Nico's eyes found hers. Guests can leave when it's safe. Elena wanted to argue, but Luis was swaying on his feet, exhausted. Fine, for tonight. Marco led them down a hallway. The back room was comfortable, 2 beds, a small bathroom, windows that looked out on an empty lot. Food's in the kitchen whenever you want it, Marco said. Boss says not to leave the building. Franco's got men everywhere. Elena nodded. She was too tired to fight anymore. After Marco left, Elena helped Luis wash his face. Get ready for sleep. I like him, Luis said quietly. Who? Nico. Elena felt surprised. Why? He has sad eyes, like us? Elena sat on the bed beside Luis. What do you mean? He lost someone important. Elena's breath caught. Luis was 7 years old. How did he see so much? How do you know that? The way he looked at me, like Daddy used to look at us, before the bad men came. Elena's throat tightened. Their father had died protecting them, protecting her and Luis from his own mistakes. Maybe, Elena said. Are we going to stay here? Elena tucked Luis under the covers. I don't know yet. I hope we do. Why? Because he'll keep us safe. I can tell. Luis fell asleep quickly. Elena sat beside his bed, watched him breathe. Her phone buzzed. A text message. Unknown number. You can't hide forever. Elena's hands shook. She deleted the message. Another buzz. Your brother is pretty. Franco would enjoy meeting him. Elena stood up, walked to the door. The hallway was quiet. She could hear voices from the main room. Nico and Marco talking. Elena crept closer, listened. Franco's offering a bounty, Marco said. 500,000 for you, dead or alive. And for Elena? 50,000. The kid, too. Elena's breath caught. They wanted Luis, her baby brother. Double the guards, Nico said. No one gets near. Them. Boss, maybe it's time to end this. Take Franco out before he takes us out. I've been thinking the same thing. Elena heard footsteps. She ran back to the bedroom. Closed the door quietly. But she'd heard enough. Nico was planning to kill Franco. This was war now. Elena lay down beside Luis. Her mind raced. She could run, take Luis and disappear. But Franco's men were everywhere. They had nowhere to go. Or she could trust Nico. Trust a man she barely knew, a man who killed people for a living. Elena closed her eyes. Tomorrow she would decide. Tonight she just needed to sleep. She woke to the smell of coffee. And something else. Pancakes. Elena checked on Luis, still sleeping, peaceful. She followed the smells to the kitchen. Nico stood at the stove, flipping pancakes. You cook? Elena asked. My mother taught me, before she died. Elena poured herself coffee. When was that? I was 12. Elena studied Nico's profile, strong jaw, dark eyes that missed nothing. What happened to her? Cancer. Took 2 years. Elena felt sympathy. I'm sorry. Long time ago. Nico plated the pancakes, set them on the small table. Where's Luis? Sleeping. Good. He needs it. Elena sat down. The pancakes were perfect. Fluffy. Sweet. You don't have to take care of us, she said. I know. Then why are you? Nico sat across from her. His coffee cup looked small in his large hands. Because you saved my life. Because Luis gave me his blanket. That's not enough reason to risk everything. Isn't it? Elena thought about that, about the way her father had protected them, about the way Mrs. Rossi looked out for her at the diner. Maybe, she said. They ate in comfortable silence. Elena felt something she hadn't felt in months. Safety. It scared her. Nico. Yes? Last night I heard you talking to Marco about ending this. Nico's eyes found hers. You were listening. I was worried. About me? Elena felt heat in her cheeks. About what happens to us if something happens to you. Something shifted in Nico's expression. Nothing will happen to me. You can't promise that. I can try. Elena's phone buzzed. Another text message. This time it was a photo. Luis walking into school yesterday. Before everything went wrong. Elena's breath caught. She dropped the phone. Nico picked it up. Looked at the message. His jaw tightened. When did this come? Just now. There were others last night. Why didn't you tell me? Elena felt angry. Because I don't trust you yet. But you trust me enough to be here. I don't have anywhere else to go. Nico stood up, walked to the window. Franco's getting desperate. What does that mean? It means he'll do something stupid. Soon. Elena joined him at the window. The empty lot looked peaceful, quiet. How long do we have? I don't know. Elena felt scared again. What about Luis? Nico turned to face her. They stood close now. Elena could see gold flecks in his dark eyes. Nothing will happen to Luis. I promise you that. How can you promise? Because I won't let it happen. Elena studied his face, saw certainty there, and pain. Deep pain. Tell me about your daughter, she said quietly. Nico's expression closed off. What? Mrs. Rossi told me. About your family? Nico walked back to the table, sat down heavily. Her name was Sophia. She was 5 years old. Elena's throat tightened. What was she like? Smart, funny. She loved to draw. Nico's voice was soft now. She would sit at my desk, draw pictures of our family. What happened? Nico was quiet for a long time. When he spoke, his voice was rough. Franco wanted to hurt me. So he hurt them instead. My wife Maria, Sophia. Nico's hands clenched. I wasn't there. I was in a meeting, talking about territory, about money. Elena felt sick. I'm sorry. I should have protected them. It wasn't your fault. Wasn't it? I chose this life. I brought danger to them. Elena sat beside him. Without thinking, she touched his hand. The men who hurt them chose to hurt them. That's not on you. Nico looked at their joined hands. Franco called me afterward, told me it was a warning. Next time he'd come for me directly. But he didn't. No, he let me live with the guilt, with the loss. Elena understood now why Nico seemed so determined to protect them. He was trying to make up for failing his first family. Nico. Yeah? We're not your wife and daughter. Nico's eyes found hers. I know that. You don't have to save us to save them. I know that too. But Elena could see he didn't really believe it. Footsteps in the hallway interrupted them. Luis appeared in the doorway. Hair messy from sleep. Good morning, Luis said. He spoke to both of them. Natural, easy. Morning, little man, Nico said. Hungry? Luis nodded, climbed into the chair between Elena and Nico. Elena watched Nico serve Luis pancakes, cut them into small pieces, add just enough syrup. How did you know he likes them cut up? Elena asked. Lucky guess. But Elena suspected it wasn't luck. Nico remembered how to take care of a child, even after 2 years. These are good, Luis said. Thank you. Luis ate steadily, methodically. Elena remembered how long it took him to trust their father's cooking, how he would only eat food Elena prepared. But he ate Nico's pancakes without hesitation. After breakfast, Luis found crayons and paper. He sat at the table drawing while Elena and Nico cleaned dishes. What are you making? Elena asked. Luis held up his drawing, 3 stick figures, a man, a woman, and a small boy. That's us, Luis said simply. Elena's breath caught. Luis had drawn them as a family. Nico stared at the picture. His expression was unreadable. Can I keep this? Nico asked quietly. Luis nodded. It's for you. Nico took the paper carefully, like it might break. Elena felt something twist in her chest, something warm and terrifying. Marco appeared in the kitchen doorway. Boss, we got a problem. Nico's expression hardened. He looked at Elena. Take Luis to the bedroom. Stay there. What's happening? Just go. Elena grabbed Luis's hand. They hurried to the back room. Through the thin walls, Elena could hear voices, urgent, worried. They found the warehouse, Marco said. How many? 6 cars, maybe more. Back exit? Blocked. Elena's heart raced. They were trapped. What about the roof? Nico asked. Clear, for now. Elena looked at Luis. He was scared but quiet, trusting her to keep him safe. The bedroom door opened. Nico entered. His expression was calm, but Elena could see tension in his shoulders. "We have to move," he said. "Where?" "Somewhere safer." Elena heard car doors slamming outside, men's voices. "How do we get out?" Nico walked to the window, looked down at the empty lot. "There's a ladder to the roof. From there we can reach the next building." Elena looked at Luis. "Can you climb?" Luis nodded. "I'm good at climbing." Elena felt proud and scared. "What about after that?" "Marco's bringing a car around. Different route." Gunshots echoed from the front of the warehouse. Elena grabbed Luis instinctively. "That's our cue," Nico said. He opened the window. Cool air rushed in. Elena could see the fire escape ladder. "Luis first," Nico said. "Then Elena. I'll cover you." "What if something happens to you?" "It won't." "But what if—" Nico grabbed Elena's shoulders, looked directly into her eyes. "I will not let anything happen to you or Luis. Do you understand me?" Elena nodded. She believed him. Nico lifted Luis to the window. "Hold tight to the ladder. Don't look down." Luis climbed out bravely. Elena followed. The ladder was cold under her hands. Rusty, but solid. Below them, she could see men surrounding the warehouse. Franco's men. Elena climbed faster. They reached the roof as the first gunshot shattered the bedroom window below. "This way," Nico said. He led them across the roof to the next building, another ladder down to an alley. Marco waited with a black SUV, engine running. "Go, go, go!" Marco shouted. They climbed in. Marco drove fast through narrow streets. Elena held Luis close. "Where are we going now?" Elena asked. "My place," Nico said. "Is it safe?" "Safer than anywhere else." Elena looked back. No cars following? For now. But she knew Franco wouldn't give up. This was far from over. Nico's estate surprised Elena. She'd expected something flashy, ostentatious. Instead, it was understated, elegant, set back from the road by tall gates and mature trees. "It's beautiful," Elena said. "Maria picked it out," Nico replied quietly. Elena understood. This had been his family home, the place where he'd been happy. The gates closed behind them with a solid click. Elena felt safer immediately. Inside, the house was warm, comfortable. Family photos sat on side tables. Elena recognized a younger Nico, a beautiful woman with dark hair, a little girl with Nico's eyes. Luis wandered around the living room, touching nothing but looking at everything. "Are you hungry?" Nico asked. Elena realized she was. "Yes. Kitchen's this way." The kitchen was large but homey. Elena could picture a family here. Breakfast conversations, homework at the counter. "I can cook," Elena offered. "You don't have to." "I want to. I need to do something with my hands." Nico showed her where everything was. Then he and Luis went to explore the garden. Elena cooked pasta with simple tomato sauce, garlic bread. Nothing fancy but filling. Through the window, she watched Nico and Luis. They walked slowly around the flower beds. Nico pointed out different plants. Luis asked questions. Elena felt something dangerous, something that felt like hope, like maybe they could build something here. The three of them? She pushed the thought away. This was temporary. When Franco was dead or captured, she and Luis would leave. Wouldn't they? Dinner was quiet. Luis told them about school, about his favorite teacher, about the book they were reading in class. Normal conversation. The kind Elena had dreamed of for Luis. After dinner, they watched a movie. Luis fell asleep on the couch between Elena and Nico. Elena studied Nico's profile in the blue light from the television. Strong features, gentle expression as he watched Luis sleep. "He likes you." Elena said quietly. I like him too. Why? Nico thought about that. He reminds me what's good in the world. Elena felt her heart squeeze. Nico. Yeah? What happens when this is over? What do you want to happen? Elena looked at Luis, at this beautiful house, at the man who'd risked everything to protect them. I don't know, she whispered, but she was starting to. Nico carried Luis to one of the guest bedrooms, tucked him in carefully. Sleep well, little man, he whispered. Luis smiled in his sleep. In the hallway, Elena and Nico stood close. The house was quiet around them. Thank you, Elena said, for everything. You don't have to thank me. Yes, I do. Nico's eyes found hers. In the dim light, they looked almost black. Elena. Yes, I'm glad you saved my life that night. Elena felt heat in her cheeks. Even though it brought you trouble? Especially because of that. Elena didn't know what to say, so she said nothing. Good night, Nico said softly. Good night. Elena watched him walk toward the master bedroom, toward the room he'd shared with his wife. She wondered if he still slept on one side of the bed, if he still set 2 alarms in the morning. Elena went to the guest room beside Luis's. It was decorated simply, tastefully. She lay in the comfortable bed and stared at the ceiling. Outside, she could hear security guards making their rounds. For the first time in years, Elena felt truly safe. It terrified her. Because safety was temporary, love was dangerous, and tomorrow Franco might find them again. But tonight, in this quiet house, she let herself imagine a different future, a future where Luis laughed every day, where she cooked dinner in that warm kitchen, where Nico came home to them every evening, a future that felt impossible and necessary. Elena closed her eyes and dreamed of stick-figure families and morning pancakes and the sound of a child's laughter echoing through empty rooms. She woke to sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows. For a moment, Elena forgot where she was. Then she remembered. Nico's house, safety, for now. Elena checked on Luis, still sleeping peacefully. She found Nico in the kitchen. Coffee was already made. He was reading something on his phone. Morning, Elena said. Morning? Sleep well? Better than I have in months. Nico poured her coffee. Their fingers brushed as he handed her the mug. Elena felt electricity, brief but real. What's the news? Elena asked. Nico's expression darkened. Franco's getting desperate. He hit 2 of my restaurants last night. Anyone hurt? No, but it's escalating. Elena sat at the kitchen island, the same place where Maria probably sat, where Sophia ate breakfast before school. What happens next? Marco's gathering intelligence. We end this soon. How? Nico looked at her carefully. You don't want to know details. Elena realized he was right. She didn't want to know how men like Franco died. Will you be safe? Safe enough. That wasn't an answer. Elena felt worried. Nico. Yeah? Luis can't lose anyone else. He's already lost too much. Something shifted in Nico's expression. What about you? Elena felt heat in her cheeks. What about me? Can you lose anyone else? Elena stared at her coffee. She was falling for him, against all logic, against all sense. I don't know, she whispered. Nico reached across the counter, touched her hand. I'll come back, he said quietly. You can't promise that. I can try. It was the same thing he'd said before, but this time Elena believed him. Luis appeared in the doorway, hair messy, eyes bright. Good morning, he said cheerfully. Morning, buddy, Nico replied. Hungry? Luis nodded, climbed onto the stool beside Elena. Elena watched Nico make eggs and toast. He moved efficiently, confidently, like he'd done this before, many times. "What do you want to do today?" Nico asked Luis. "Can we see the garden again?" "Of course." "Can Elena come too?" Nico's eyes found Elena's. "If she wants to." Elena felt something dangerous, something that felt like belonging. "I'd like that," she said. After breakfast, they walked through the garden together. Nico showed Luis the vegetable patch, the herb garden, the small greenhouse. "Sophia loved this place," Nico said quietly. Elena felt honored that he shared the memory. "What did she grow?" "Sunflowers. Dozens of them." Nico smiled. Every summer the whole backyard was yellow. "Can we grow sunflowers?" Luis asked. Elena's breath caught. Luis was thinking about staying, about next summer. "If you're still here," Nico said carefully. "Where else would we be?" Luis asked innocently. Elena and Nico looked at each other over Luis's head. The question hung between them. Where else would they be? Elena was starting to think maybe nowhere else. Maybe here was home now. But first, Franco had to be dealt with. First, they had to survive. Everything else could wait. 3 days passed peacefully at the estate. Elena fell into a routine. Breakfast with Nico and Luis, garden walks, quiet evenings. It felt dangerous. This peace, this growing attachment. Elena tried to keep emotional distance, but it was impossible when Luis laughed at Nico's jokes, when Nico remembered exactly how Luis liked his sandwiches cut. On the 4th morning, Elena woke to voices in the hallway, urgent, worried. She crept to her door, listened. "Franco's planning something big," Marco said. "My source says tonight." "What kind of something?" Nico asked. "A direct assault on the house." Elena's blood went cold. She pressed closer to the door. "How many men?" Nico's voice was calm, professional. 20, maybe more." "Security?" "I can get 15 here by noon." Elena felt scared. 20 against 15 weren't good odds. "What about Elena and Luis?" "Safe room in the basement, steel doors, separate ventilation." Elena didn't want to hide in a basement while Nico fought for his life, but she couldn't put Luis at risk. "Get them there by sunset," Nico said. "No matter what happens upstairs, they stay put." "Yes, boss." Elena crept back to bed. Her mind raced. Tonight Franco would come. Tonight this would end. One way or another. Elena tried to act normal during breakfast, but Nico noticed everything. "You're quiet today," he said. "Just tired." Nico's eyes found hers. He knew she was lying. After Luis finished eating, Nico sent him to watch cartoons. "You heard us talking," Nico said quietly. Elena nodded. 20 men. "My security is good, trained, but outnumbered. Numbers aren't everything." Elena felt angry suddenly. "This is because of me, because I helped you." "This is because Franco wants me dead. You're just caught in the middle." "Same result." Nico walked around the counter, stood close to Elena. "Hey, look at me." Elena raised her eyes. Nico's face was serious but gentle. "Whatever happens tonight, Luis will be safe. I promise you that." "What about you?" "What about me?" Elena felt her throat tighten. "I don't want you to die." Something shifted in Nico's expression. "Why?" "Because I'm falling in love with you," Elena thought. "Because Luis needs you. Because I need you." But she couldn't say those things. Not yet. "Because you're a good man, despite everything else." Nico's hand touched her cheek. "Elena." "Yes." "If something happens to me, don't. Listen, if something happens, Marco will take care of you, both of you. I've made arrangements." Elena felt tears in her eyes. "I don't want your money." "It's not about money. It's about safety." Elena understood. Even dying, Nico would try to protect them. Nothing's going to happen, she said firmly. You don't know that. Then make sure it doesn't. Nico smiled, small but real. Yes, ma'am. The afternoon dragged. Elena played with Luis in the garden, read him stories, tried to memorize his laugh. At 5 o'clock, Marco came to get them. Time to go downstairs, he said. Elena packed a bag, snacks for Luis, his favorite blanket, a book. The safe room was larger than she expected, comfortable, stocked with food and water. How long do we stay here? Elena asked. Until it's over, Marco said. Luis looked confused. What's happening? Elena knelt beside him. Remember how we used to play hiding games when Daddy was sick? Luis nodded. This is another hiding game. We have to stay here until Nico says it's safe. Is Nico in trouble? Elena's throat tightened. Yes, but he's very strong and very smart. He'll be okay, Luis said with certainty. Elena wished she felt as confident. Marco showed them how to lock the door, how to house the intercom system. Don't open this door for anyone except me or Nico, Marco said, no matter what you hear. Elena nodded. Her hands shook. Marco. Yeah? Keep him safe. I will. Marco left. Elena locked the door behind him. She and Luis settled on the small couch. Elena tried to read but couldn't concentrate. Luis colored quietly, drew pictures of flowers and houses and stick figure families. At 8 o'clock, they heard the first gunshot. Elena pulled Luis closer. His eyes were wide, but he didn't cry. It's just noise, Elena whispered, like fireworks. More gunshots, rapid, sustained, a firefight. Elena closed her eyes, prayed to anyone listening, please keep him safe, please let him come back to us. The shooting went on for 20 minutes, then stopped. Silence stretched. Elena held her breath. Footsteps in the hallway above, heavy boots, too many of them. Elena's heart raced. Had Franco won? Someone tried the door handle. Elena grabbed Luis's hand. Elena, you in there? A man's voice. Not Nico, not Marco. Elena said nothing. We know you're in there, sweetheart. Open up. Elena recognized the voice. Romano, the man with the scar. Where's the key? Another voice. Boss wants them alive, Romano said. Find another way in? Elena looked around desperately. No other exit, no windows. They were trapped. But the door was steel. The locks were strong. Maybe it would hold. Drilling sounds echoed from above. Power tools. Luis pressed against Elena's side. I'm scared. It's okay, baby. The door is strong. Elena hoped she was right. An hour passed. The drilling stopped. Elena heard voices but couldn't make out words. Then an explosion rocked the room. Smoke filled the air. Elena, Luis cried. Elena grabbed him, looked around frantically. The door was intact but buckled. Another explosion, this one closer. The lights went out. Elena felt for the flashlight Marco had shown them, found it, turned it on. Luis's face was pale but determined. Are the bad men coming? I don't know. Elena thought about Nico. Was he alive? Dead? Captured? She couldn't bear not knowing. The intercom crackled. Static. Then a voice. Elena, it's Marco. I'm coming down. Elena felt relieved. Marco was alive. Minutes later, the door opened. Marco appeared. His shirt was torn, blood on his cheek. We have to go. Now. What about Nico? He's alive, but Franco has the house surrounded. Elena grabbed the bag, took Luis's hand. They ran through corridors Elena had never seen, service passages behind the walls. Where are we going? Tunnel to the garage, cars waiting. They reached a narrow staircase, climbed to ground level. The garage was dark, silent. Marco's SUV sat ready. Get in the back, stay down. Elena and Luis climbed in. Marco started the engine. The garage door opened. Elena saw flames in the distance. Nico's beautiful house was burning. "Oh, God," Elena whispered. "It's just a building," Marco said. "Boss got out." "Where is he?" "Meeting us at the docks. We're getting you out of the city." Elena felt numb. Everything was falling apart. The safety they'd found was gone, but Nico was alive. That was what mattered. They drove through empty streets. Marco took a complicated route, doubling back, checking for followers. "Are we safe?" Luis asked quietly. "For now," Elena said. But she knew they weren't really safe. Wouldn't be safe until Franco was dead. The docks were dark, abandoned. Marco parked behind a warehouse. "Wait here," he said. Marco disappeared into the shadows. Elena held Luis close. Minutes later, Marco returned. With him was another man, tall, broad shoulders. Elena's heart jumped. Nico. She got out of the car, ran to him. Nico caught her in his arms, held her tight. "You're okay," Elena breathed. "So are you. That's all that matters." Elena pulled back, looked at his face, a cut on his forehead, bruises on his neck. "You're hurt?" "It's nothing." Elena touched the cut gently. Nico winced. "It's not nothing." "I'll live." Elena felt angry suddenly. "You could have died. But I didn't. This time." Nico's hands framed her face. "Elena, look at me." Elena met his eyes, dark, intense. "I will not leave you, either of you, I promise." Elena wanted to believe him, but she knew how dangerous his world was. "Nico, I love you." The words hit Elena like a physical blow. She stopped breathing. "What?" "I love you. I love Luis. I love the family we've become." Elena felt tears in her eyes. "Nico, I know it's complicated. I know I'm not the safest choice." "You're not," Elena agreed, "but I'm asking anyway. Stay with me. Build something with me." Elena looked at Luis. He watched them with curious eyes. "What about Franco?" "Franco's finished. Tonight ends it." Elena felt scared. "How?" "You don't want to know." "Yes, I do." Nico hesitated, then spoke quietly. "He took something from me 2 years ago. Tonight I take something from him." Elena understood. This was about revenge, about justice, about ending a war that had cost too much already. What if something goes wrong? It won't. But what if... Nico kissed her, soft, gentle, full of promise. Elena felt everything else fall away. The danger, the fear, the uncertainty. There was only this moment, this man, this impossible love. When they broke apart, Elena rested her forehead against his. "I love you too," she whispered. Nico's eyes closed. "Elena?" "Yes? Wait for me." Elena nodded. "Always." Nico hugged Luis goodbye, whispered something in his ear that made Luis smile. Then he was gone, into the darkness with Marco. Elena and Luis waited in the car. A different man drove them to a hotel across town. "How long?" Elena asked. "Few hours," the driver said. "Maybe less." Elena settled Luis in the hotel bed. He fell asleep quickly, exhausted. Elena sat by the window, watched the city lights, waited for word. At 3 a.m, her phone rang. "It's over." Nico's voice, tired but alive. "Franco?" "Won't hurt anyone again." Elena felt relief flood through her. "Where are you?" "On my way to you." "We're at the Marriott, room 412. 20 minutes. Elena waited by the door. Every minute felt like an hour. Finally, a knock. Elena looked through the peephole. Nico stood in the hallway, alone. Elena opened the door. Nico stepped inside. They stood facing each other. Everything had changed. The danger was over. Franco was dead. They were free. "What happens now?" Elena asked. "Whatever we want." Elena thought about that, about possibilities, about the future. I want to go home, she said. Where's home? Elena looked at Luis sleeping peacefully, at the man who'd risked everything to protect them. With you. Nico's breath caught. Are you sure? No, but I'm willing to try. It won't be easy. My world is complicated. All worlds are complicated. Nico smiled. You're right. Elena stepped closer. Nico. Yeah? Kiss me again. This time the kiss was different, deeper, full of promise and hope and love. When they broke apart, Elena felt certain. This was right. They were right. What about Luis? Nico asked. He loves you. He told me. And you? Elena's heart pounded. I love you, all of you, the good and the bad. Even the dangerous parts? Especially those. Nico laughed quietly. You're crazy. Probably. I love that about you. Elena felt happy, really happy, for the first time in years. So what do we do now? We go home, we build a life, we take care of each other. Elena looked at Luis, at their future, at this man who'd become everything. I like that plan. Good, because I'm not letting you go. Elena smiled. I wouldn't let you. They held each other in the quiet hotel room. Outside, the city slept. But inside, they were wide awake, planning, dreaming, loving. Elena thought about the night she'd saved a bleeding stranger. How it had changed everything. Sometimes the best things came from the most dangerous places. Sometimes love grew in the darkest soil. Sometimes you had to risk everything to find what you'd been looking for all along. 6 months. Later, Elena stood in her new cafe kitchen. The morning rush was over, dishes were done, the register was balanced. Her cafe, her dream. Made possible by Nico, but owned entirely by her. The bell above the door chimed. Elena looked up. Luis bounded in from school. His backpack bounced as he ran to the counter. How was your day? Elena asked. Good. We learned about fractions. Luis's voice was clear now, strong. He talked constantly, made up for lost time. Where's Nico? Luis asked. He'll be here soon. Elena poured Luis chocolate milk, set out cookies, their afternoon routine. The bell chimed again. Elena's heart jumped. Nico walked in, clean suit, tired eyes, but smiling. How are my favorite people? He asked. Luis launched himself at Nico. We made cookies. Did you save me any? Elena made me save you 3. Only 3? Luis giggled. Okay, 4. Elena watched them together. This family they'd built from nothing, from danger and fear and desperate love. Nico kissed her cheek. Good day? Better now. It was true. Every day was better when he came home. Home, such a simple word, such a complicated thing to build, but they'd done it. Against all odds. Despite all obstacles. Elena served Nico coffee and cookies. They sat together at the small table in the back. Mrs. Rossi called. Elena said, She wants to visit this weekend. Tell her yes. I'll make dinner. She's bringing her famous bread. Perfect. Luis colored at the table, drew pictures of their house, their garden, their life. Elena looked around the cafe, at the customers reading newspapers, at the warm light through the windows. This was peace. This was safety. This was love. Elena, Nico said quietly. Yes? Do you ever regret it? Choosing this life? Elena thought about that, about the danger they'd faced, about the fear they'd lived through, about the night a wounded stranger stumbled into her diner and changed everything. No, she said firmly. I regret nothing. Even the scary parts? Especially the scary parts. They brought us together. Nico's hand found hers across the table. I love you. I love you too. Luis looked up from his drawing. Are you guys being mushy again? Elena laughed. Yes. Good. Families should be mushy. Elena felt her heart squeeze. Luis understood now. What family meant, what love looked like. They closed the cafe together, walked home through the quiet streets. Luis ran ahead, chased a butterfly through their front gate. Elena and Nico followed slowly, hand in hand. What should we have for dinner? Elena asked. Whatever Luis wants. He'll say pizza. Then pizza it is. Elena looked at their house, at the garden where Luis played, at the life they'd built. It wasn't perfect. Nothing ever was. But it was theirs. Born from courage and hope and the decision to trust each other. Elena thought about the stick figure drawing Luis made that first morning. 3 people, a family. He'd seen it before they did. This possibility. This future. Children saw things clearly sometimes, without fear or doubt or hesitation. Luis was right. They were family now. Had been from the moment he gave Nico his blanket. Some families were born, some were chosen. Some were forged in fire and danger and desperate love. Theirs was all 3. Elena squeezed Nico's hand. He squeezed back. Ready to go home? He asked. Elena looked at him, at Luis laughing in the garden, at the house that held all their dreams. We're already there, she said. And they were.